What is going on, guys? Yori here, back with another video. In this video we'll be discussing cryptomats, a topic that has been asked about in my last video. I want to first of all thank you guys for watching my last video, because that video has been blowing up ever since, and I'm very glad that I could help out a lot of people that were struggling with EXR multi-layer workflow in DaVinci. It still boggles my mind that just only like a few people have made a video about that, especially since DaVinci Resolve and Fusion. It's basically a free program, and if you combine it with Blender, then you have a really nice workflow. So I want to thank you guys for watching that video. Welcome to all the new subscribers, and in this video we'll be talking about cryptomats. The reason why I left out cryptomats in the past video is because cryptomats is kind of a intermediate thing, I guess, and in that video I really wanted to focus on beginners that just try to like do compositing for the first time and wanted to know about doing that in a free program like DaVinci Resolve. So yeah, that's why I left out cryptomats. But cryptomats are really like something that it could be very, very useful in projects, especially client work. Let me just first of all show you guys what a cryptomat is. Cryptomat is basically a way to create masks based on objects, materials, and assets. It can create very accurate masks, and the thing that stands out with cryptomats is that the masks do support anti-aliasing, depth and field and motion blur. It basically helps you mask out things in animations, in stills, very well, instead of like creating your own masks or, you know, like pen tooling things out. Crypto masks are very useful to either like change lighting, change color, brightness, saturation, everything. So like you can see here, this is an example of what a crypto mat looks like. As you can see, like every object that is in this scene has been separated by colors, and you can have this for objects within the scene, certain materials. So like you can see, like in here, nearly every grass strand is separated by each color, and in here nearly all the grass the same color. And this is because this is a cryptomat based on materials, and this is a cryptomat based on objects. And there's another cryptomat actually, which is right here, and this is based on assets. And the difference between this one and objects is that assets are joined together objects. These are particles and they're grouped together. They will all have the same, or basically most of them have the same color, because they're one asset. Let's dive into Blender and how to set this up. I've already rendered out this composition because it takes like 6 or 7 minutes. I'm not gonna re-render it, but what you have to do is, before you render, enable the cryptomat object. Depends on what mask you want to use. So if you want to mask out only the objects, based on materials or assets. After that, you'll see the levels option, and the levels are the amount of detail each pass has. You'll have to divide this number by 2. That's also why you should always set this number in steps of 2. It will be divided by 2 by each section. So right now it's put on 6, and I think that's the basic number, but each asset, like its object, will have like 2 passes of levels within colors. So as you can see, crypto object will have 3 passes, and that's just because this pass will have 2 levels, this one will have 2 levels, and this one will have 2 levels. From what I've read, I've not really tried it out yet, but from what I've read is that 6 is more than enough for most cases, unless you will have a lot of motion blur in it. So basically loss of data, or whenever it becomes really hard to actually read the picture, then you can up this by 2 or 4. As long as you keep this in steps of 2, then you should be good. So if you have this set to level 8, then you'll have 4 passes. because remember, like each pass will have 2 passes. It's a bit confusing, but just know that in most cases 6 is enough. So after that, I use the EXR Auto Pass Saver, which is an add-on. I'll link it down below. It's a very handy add-on. What it basically does is when you have your passes set up and you click use node, you'll see a render layer and a compositing layer, just like that. And this would be hooked up to this. But when you have EXR multilayers, most of the time you'll use file output layers. And to render out each pass, you'll have to create each input by itself. So you will have image for here, then you'll have to add another input for alpha, another input for depth. So that just takes a lot of time. I found this free add-on called EXR Auto Pass Saver, and all you have to do is just delete this composite node, sorry. Select the render layer, hit EXR Auto Saver. It basically creates that whole layer for you. You have everything hooked up right away, correctly actually, and yeah, you can render it straight out like this. Installing this add-on is basically just like every other add-on. You go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, then hit Install. Find your add-on that you've just downloaded it. Don't unzip it. Hit it, Install add-on, and then it will install it. And it will show up first like this, like gray, and then you just hit it to enable it, and then it'll be right here in compositing. After you've set this all up, then all you have to do is basically render it out. Make sure you have the output set to where you want to save it, and then render it out. When you're in DaVinci, in my previous video, we basically just dragged it in. However, this for some reason won't work with the plugin that we will be using within DaVinci Resolve, which is the Reactor plugin, and that's something that I've gotten a lot of comments about as well. So this doesn't work. You cannot like just drag it in. For this, we will need to hit Control Space and then search for loader. This way we will be loading in the EXR file, which is right here, and we'll find it right here. I don't know yet why it doesn't work by just dragging in, but the plugin somehow doesn't see the dragged in version as an EXR file. So after that, we'll be using the Reactor plugin, which I'll have a video on how to install that. It will be up somewhere in the screen if it's uploaded. What I would do is just pause this video right here, install that plugin, and then come back after that. But if you have it, then just right click the EXR layer, go to script, and then hit hose split EXR Ultra. After this, you will see this window, and I wouldn't touch anything, and then hit OK. And as you can see, it basically like splits it into all these different passes that you have rendered out in Blender. So for Cryptomatte, there are these 3 or 6 that we actually need, which is the crypto assets, the crypto materials, and crypto objects right here. And then we also need the image, this one. All right, so let's preview the image by just hitting it, selecting it, and then hit 1 on your keyboard. There we go. And as you can see, it looks very dark, and that's because DaVinci doesn't have the same LUT as Blender. When you render something out of Blender and you don't like the general settings are set on Filmic color management right here, like Filmic, and this Filmic LUT isn't within DaVinci Resolve. The quick and easy dirty way to actually set this up is by going to Fusion LUT, hit it, and then go to edit and set the color gamma to 2.2, and then hit this button. After that, you'll see a somewhat nearly close as your render version of this. For preview, this is enough. But I will have another video up as well about how to view a one-to-one version render out of Blender. That one also needs a whole video by itself. But yeah, for now, this is all you need to know. So we need the image file, and on the second one, we'll render out the crypto assets. This is how you want to separate things. For instance, if I want to separate the grass and do some adjustments on the grass, then it's better for me to use the crypto asset pass instead of like the crypto object. Because as you can see, like in the crypto asset, I'll have to only like select most of it once, and I'll have a nice mask of the grass. However, in the crypto object, I'll have to select different type of colors for me to have the same result. So it depends on what you want to change in your render, and based on that, you'll have to make a choice or which cryptomatt you will use. Maybe even the crypto material would be even better. Yeah, I would say the crypto material would be even better than the crypto object for in my case. However, I want to actually change the colors of the skeleton. For this, I'll use the crypto material, since everything in a skeleton has the same material. Don't be afraid, because the butterfly in this one looks like it has the same color, but it is, as you maybe can see, it's slightly darker. Most of the things that look like they have the same color, they won't, and you wouldn't have to worry about that. So we'll need the crypto material and the image. Before we actually extract this, we'll need a plugin within Reactor that you will have to install anyway for like splitting all these passes. The way we actually get that is by going to Workspace, Scripts, and go into Reactor, open Reactor. It will update everything every time you open it. It's basically updating every plugin, every setting you have. So let's wait on that for a second. All right, so this is Fusion Reactor, and in here we'll be searching for Cryptomatte. Enable this, and after that you'll have to install it. Like I'll do it with like the crypto sample images because I already have the Cryptomatte, and after that you'll have to see if there's an update. But since you have already opened, what do you call it, Fusion Reactor, it will be already updated. But just check if there's an update, just in case. After that, if you've selected it, then it will be installed, and you can just close this after that. All right, then select your Cryptomatte, hit Control Space, and then search for Cryptomatte, which I already did, but search for Cryptomatte, hit enter, and this new node will be created called Cryptomatte. And if we view this on our second viewer, you can see everything looks very faded. It's not like real colors, basically. It's just to show you what is able to be selected, basically. Since we want to look for the materials, we'll have to set the layer index onto materials, and after that we can just select the material, this, or the object with this little slider. The center has to be on the object that you want to select. In our case, it's already in the middle, but let's say you want to select this tree trunk, then all you have to do is just slide it over to this tree trunk and hit add. After that, it will add it into the matte list, and as you can see, everything that you've added will be brighter and more saturated in color, without an actual alpha mask or anything. So right now we will have the mask created for the tree trunk, and as you can see, the material that we have in Blender, I think it's the same actually. Let's go to layout, select what was it called again? It was called bark. Yeah, as you can see, it's the exact same material that has been assigned to within Blender. So it already knows the crypto material or their material name within Resolve through this Cryptomatte node. We actually wanted to change the colors of the skull or the skeleton. So if you want to remove anything, all you have to do is just have it on the actual object and then hit remove. And that will take another few seconds, but it will just remove it. If you want to clear everything in this list, then hit clear. Remove is only per object, and this button is for everything within the list. So we want to have the actual skeleton selected. So I'll make sure to be on this like bluish side and hit add. And there we go. We'll have the whole skeleton selected. Okay. Let's then, the way we actually mask this out of the official image so that we can actually color it after that is by creating a Boolean node. So what we'll do is hit the Cryptomatte, hit Control Space, search for bool, that stands for booleans, channel booleans, and hit add. After that, slide in the image into this channel boolean as well. If we view this right now, you'll see that there's nothing that happened yet. It's because we have to set the Cryptomatte on matte. And as you can see, it basically created a mask, and within the channel boolean we'll have to add it or set it to and. What this basically does is, just like the mask, it will mask everything out except for what the mask is masking out. And in this case it doesn't really look like it did anything different. But if we hit the channel boolean and then go into Control Space again and search for color corrector, CC, like that. This is actually the wrong input. If we drag this square into this blue input and this one, just drag it over the color corrector, and we view this one, we'll have this color corrector right here. And if we change the colors, as you can see, we'll only be affecting the thing that we're actually masking out. That's actually how you use Cryptomatte in DaVinci Resolve. This can also be done with anything else. And now that I'm thinking of it, it doesn't really actually matter if you're using the actual crypto object matte or the crypto asset, since you've already rendered these out, it will be all stored within the object anyway. And this Cryptomatte node will know everything that has already been rendered into the Cryptomatte basically. So this Cryptomatte, if you just set this to let's say object, and then yeah, so right now nothing has been masked out because it's been resetted basically. If we clear this and then set the matte to back to colors, as you can see, the actual Cryptomatte looks different now because it's set on objects. So every object has a different color now. Instead of material, where we actually had one single color set to the whole skeleton basically. It's loading. No, right there. So as you can see, like the whole skeleton is bluish right now. You won't really need all these Cryptomattes basically. You just need one, and from that one you can basically duplicate it if you want to have more control over other things basically. So yeah, that's basically how you use Cryptomattes. I'll just show you guys on how to make different ones real quick. All you have to do is just Cryptomatte, Control C, clicking away, Control V, drag this one out to the new Cryptomatte, and then put this first one on, let's say, objects, and then this one on material. Yeah, let's do that right like that. So this one is an objects, and I want to just change this single tree trunk because all these trees around him have the same material, but I only want to change this one right here. So I'll just select that one and add it to this one, to this Cryptomatte. It's selecting right there. Cool. With this one we can color correct it the way we actually like it. Let's say I want to have a more yellowish, maybe. Yeah, more yellowish tone to it is. So like you can see, it will maybe like fit better into the background. And then for this one, I want to have, let's say, view this on this layer. Let's say we want to, yeah, let's say we want to have all these purple leaves. Then we'll have to drag this over to the leaves right there, like that. Edit. Just like that, we'll have every single one of those purple leaves. And then what we'll have to do is basically duplicate this set hit Ctrl C, then click away, Ctrl V. Do basically the same. Put this into the yellow input like that. Drag this again into this green one. This one into this yellow one. Since we just duplicated this one, it will have the same setting. However, enable this and just like that. The reason why this looks very fake is because I'm going very extreme. Something you can also do is, instead of using this, you can use the hue and saturation, which is a bit more natural discoloring basically. And with the saturation node, you'll just, like it says, change the saturation. While as if I'm dragging this around, I'm doing basically everything like hue, saturation, and lightness. And that's why this looks very unrealistic basically, or looks off in this image. So I'll suggest, if you just want to like change a few colors, I would rather just use these sliders within here. And the way to actually combine these two, because right now this color correction only affects the flowers, and as you can see, the tree trunk hasn't been changed, and within here you only have the tree trunk and the leaves changed, and not the color the flowers. So the way we actually combine these two is, instead of dragging the image into this, all you have to do is drag this output into here, and this will be the new version of the actual both being changed in color. Hey guys, Yori here from the future. I think I've missed something out. In this tutorial I've only used color correction, but you can actually use any effect that you want on the Cryptomatte. In this case I use the radial blur. As long as you use the same inputs, it should just work. You can see I have masked out the tree in the back, and I can just use radial blur on it, or basically any other effect. All you have to do is basically use the same inputs and you should be fine. And you can just duplicate these as many times as you want, and all you have to do is just change the mask to however you like it, change the effect on it, and keep on using the same inputs, just like that, and you'll have a new mask. Alright, thank you. Yeah, that's basically how you use Cryptomats. I hope this video will help you guys out to have a better understanding of Cryptomats. This will help a lot, but if you have a lot of clients that want to change like slight things in the post basically, so you don't have to re-render everything out every single time there's a change. Yeah, so like I said, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. You guys can follow me on Instagram, on Twitter. The links will be down below. See more of my work. This was my latest work, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.